In the history of World War II, we often obsess over the screaming Spitfires or the devastating B-29s. But when General Dwight D. Eisenhower was asked which weapons were most vital to the Allied victory, he didn't point to a tank or a heavy bomber. He pointed to a boring, twin-engined cargo plane with no guns and a top speed of barely 220 miles per hour. The C-47 Skytrain, affectionately known as the Gooney Bird. To the high command, it wasn't just a transport, it was the glitch in the Axis strategy. While Hitler focused on wonder weapons and heavy armor, the Allies focused on a machine that could move an entire army across an ocean and drop it behind enemy lines. The engineering of the C-47 was a masterpiece of unkillable simplicity. Derived from the civilian Douglas DC-3, the military version was stripped of its luxury seats and fitted with a reinforced floor, a large cargo door, and a folding bench system. It was designed to operate out of impossible airfields, short, muddy strips in the middle of jungles or frozen European fields where a modern jet would sink to its axles. The Skytrain's wings were so over-engineered that it could carry loads far beyond its official limits, earning a reputation for being nearly impossible to break. If a C-47 took a hit from flak, it didn't just disintegrate, it limped home on one engine, held together by nothing but rugged American rivets and luck. But the true record-unfold mystery isn't just how it was built, it's how it changed the math of war. Before the C-47, an army moved as fast as its trucks or horses. The Skytrain broke that rule. It turned the sky into a massive conveyor belt for the Allied machine. Whether it was flying the hump over the Himalayas to supply China or carrying the paratroopers of the 101st Airborne into the dark skies over Normandy, the C-47 was the invisible backbone of every major invasion. It was a civilian plane drafted into a world-ending conflict. And as we look at the lead-up to D-Day, we realize that without this boring transport, the liberation of Europe would have been a logistical impossibility. As the Allies prepared for the invasion of Europe, the C-47 was tasked with a mission that defied conventional military logic: vertical envelopment. The plan wasn't just to fly over the enemy, it was to turn the sky into a massive sky train that would bypass every German defensive line on the ground. This was the glitch in Hitler's Atlantic Wall. While the Germans spent years building concrete bunkers facing the sea, the C-47 was preparing to drop an entire army directly into their backyard. The engineering of the C-47 had to be pushed to its absolute breaking point. To move enough men and equipment, the Gooney Bird became a glider tug. Massive, silent Waco gliders made of wood and fabric and packed with jeeps, artillery, and troops were hitched to the back of the C-47 by a single tow rope. On the night of June 5, 1944, over 800 Skytrains roared off the runways of England, many of them straining under the weight of these loaded gliders. It was a terrifying sight. Hundreds of planes flying wingtip to wingtip in total radio silence, navigation lights dimmed, guided only by the exhaust flames of the plane in front of them. But the real record-unfold mystery lies in the jump signal system. Inside the darkened cabin, paratroopers from the 82nd and 101st Airborne stood in the stick, hooked to the static line, waiting for a single red light to turn green. When that light flickered, the C-47 became a delivery system for liberation. In just a few hours, these boring cargo planes dropped 13,000 men into the chaos of the French countryside.
They weren't just dropping soldiers, they were dropping a logistical avalanche that the German command couldn't track or stop. The C-47 had effectively deleted the front line, proving that in modern war, the side that controls the train in the sky is the side that dictates the terms of the battle.
The end of World War II was supposed to be the retirement date for the C-47, but the Gooney Bird had other plans. While the sleek fighters and heavy bombers of the 1940s were being melted down for scrap, the Skytrain was proving that a rugged airframe and a reliable engine are timeless. This is the immortal chapter of the RecordUnfold story, where a World War II relic transformed into a modern nightmare for its enemies. The engineering glitch that kept the C-47 alive was its STOL, short takeoff and landing capability. During the Vietnam War, the military realized they needed a plane that could loiter over a jungle for hours and unleash hellish firepower. They took the boring cargo plane and turned it into the AC-47 Spooky gunship. Engineers mounted 3 7.62mm miniguns out of the side windows, capable of firing 6,000 rounds per minute. For the first time, a transport plane wasn't just carrying supplies, it was the Dragon, circling over besieged outposts and painting the night sky with a solid stream of red tracer fire. But the real mystery is the BT-67 turbo conversion. Decades after the last original C-47 rolled off the assembly line, private companies began rebirthing these airframes. They stripped them to the bone, lengthened the fuselage, and replaced the old radial engines with powerful Pratt & Whitney turboprops. Today, you can still find these grandfathers of the sky flying researchers to the South Pole or hauling cargo into the deepest parts of the Amazon rainforest. The C-47 Skytrain is the ultimate survivor. It outlasted the jet engines that were supposed to replace it, and it outlasted the very empires it helped to topple. It remains the only aircraft from the 1940s that is still doing the exact same job it was built for nearly a century ago. General Eisenhower was right. It wasn't the fastest or the deadliest, but it was the one that made victory a physical reality. The Gooney